Well, this is part 2 of my e-bike commute to Cardington. This part's coming home, and it follows a stop in the middle because it rained and the camera footage wasn't great. So the first half took me to Priory Marina, almost all the way to Cardington, and this step will take me back from Cardington in the other direction, and I'll come home on the other side of the river, show you that as well. I had what I felt was a really good session with my student, so that's good, and what a nice way to come home. Just look at the sky and the colours of the grass and the trees. Cycling is a bit like running and walking for that matter, in that the activity itself traps you in mundanity, and it's these holes in the need to pay attention to things which I find very therapeutic. A seamless transition from the world of road traffic into the somewhat delicious world off-road. These paths will take me all the way back to Bedford and almost to my home. The clicking that you hear so much of is the indexed gear system. It's nowhere near this loud in real life. I guess it's resonating through the frame. This is a really busy roundabout, and I routinely use these lights rather than chancing it because the cars really do come whipping round. It's another illustration of the two different worlds. They meet at these lights and nod to each other, but they are different worlds really. Daisies and buttercups. This tree's put down a carpet for us. This whole area is called Priory Business Park, and it's relatively new. This bridge crosses us over a small brook or stream type thing, and we're heading back into Priory Marina, the big artificial lake. This gate on the left controls the flow of water in a tributary, which is man-made and diverts some of the Ouse into a whitewater canoeing club facility. It's very easy to meet oncoming cyclists on this corner, which is why I use the bell. And here's the big lake again. They do sailing training courses on the lake. often use the time cycling home to think about the lesson I've just taken, and what went well, what didn't go well, what I could do differently in the future. It's very pleasant to contemplate that kind of thing in this kind of environment. Another little Zen interlude, a shutdown or broaden out opportunity where you can put your brain into a mode there's not often much space for in a modern life. And coming up on the right is the wooden fence we stopped at on our way out to Cardington. So we'll leave Priory Marina and turn back onto the disused railway line, which runs parallel to a road called Barker's Lane. The marina that was on our right on the way out is now on the left. The bike has 6 gears, and I spend almost all the time when I'm on the flat in 6th gear, just helping the motor out. Or overtaking the motor. In fact, it's a natural tendency of mine to pedal at a speed where the motor is, the limiter is kicking in and out, so about 13-14 miles an hour. Back over the fast moving shallow river with the gravel bed and the kingfishers. And on the left is where Newnham swimming pool, the outdoor swimming pool, used to be. I have a very powerful memory, I suppose I may have been 7 or 8, of going there swimming on a very hot day with my friend at the time, Graham Clark, and his mum putting suntan lotion on my shoulders, and I had a very strange feeling. Aspects Leisure Centre on the right again, far too much of it boarded up, unused. And we're back in the Embankment area, this time on the other side of the road. not that long ago I used to run round this river, a 3.1 mile run, every Monday morning, and it always fascinated me how belligerent the geese were and how little they understood their lowly position as beasts of fodder on the food chain. And I do confess that once in a while I would gently tap them out of the way with a foot as I ran past them, rather than run round them. Don't tell anyone. The building on the right hand side was built when Russell Park was built, which is the park on the right hand side. When I was younger, much younger, I used to live in Cardington Road, and Mum would take me and my sister for a walk over the fields and then over to the Russell Park Cafe, as it was in those days, and she'd buy us an ice cream. Good times. Riding on this side is nowhere near as much fun as it could be because the tree roots are pushing up the tarmac, and it can be brutal. Once every 2 years in the summer, Bedford runs the Bedford River Festival, and this whole area is covered in German bratwurst stalls and fooderies and eateries and candy flosseries and old tat and polished stones and all sorts of crud I'm not really interested in. Once every 2 years. I think last year I didn't even bother going to look at it, but it can be fun. Bedford Castle Mound is on the left, the site where the castle used to be. We won't be seeing that, but I'll stop here and leave you. I'm going home on the road. I'll need to walk through the pedestrian area in the centre, and it's not very interesting. But so that was out and back to Cardington. It takes about half an hour each way. It's 3.6 miles. It's not much quicker in a car. And it's much nicer by bike. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and if you'd like to see more, subscribe, and if you've got any comments at all, what you'd like to hear more of or less of on these little trips of ours, then do feel free to leave a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think.